because, you know, I don't know of many organizations who are being that proactive in making that happen. Does anyone else have a question, since we're definitely, we're juggling a little bit here because Michael's about 50 yards away with another professional that we tried to toss it to, and clearly we're having connection issues. But does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Paula directly with regards to SBCTA and maybe how they might connect with their organizations or any of the initiatives or things that they're doing? No questions? Okay, well, if you think of something, please put it in the chat. And what I'm gonna do, since we're not quite sure where Michael's at right now, is I'm gonna see if Yvonne, if we can take it from Paula and throw it over to Kim. We're just gonna change up a little bit. And then if we're able to connect after Kim's, then throw it back. Is that possible, Yvonne?
Yes, Kim just has to share his screen and he's ready to go.
All right, so we're going to stop sharing on Alex and Michael's end, and we're going to kick it over to Kim, and he's going to talk more about Stemopalooza.
Dr. Shushima, you had a question in the chat. You had a couple questions.
Oh, they did pop up. And are there opportunities for us to coordinate on job shadow opportunities? Okay, so is Paula still there? Okay, Paula. Some of the questions that are being asked. Will there be another site visit that could be for students and or teachers in the future?
Actually, we are planning on it. We don't know that it can be face-to-face at this time, but we are planning on it. That's the whole beauty in having this project so close to us, is that we can actually walk out our back door of our office and here we are. So yes, today we'll actually show you one. So this will be the beginning of your visit to the site to watch the development of the project. I guess I can give you a little hint. What you'll see is a drill rig, and it is going to bore into the earth and take out soil samples. And so you'll talk to a geologist as well as the operators, and the geologist will give you information about how we as engineers use that soil and test it to develop our foundations. It sounds crazy, but soil does have strength, and we need to look to see what soil types are there, because the strength does vary based on the composition of the soil.
Okay, well, it looks like Michael has signed in. Michael, can you hear us?
Hi, Carol. We're on site with Raj. He's a geologist, and he's going to go ahead and explain what he's doing here with the geological soil testing. Go ahead, Raj. So what is it that we're looking here at this particular site?
So here is, hello everybody, my name is Raj. I am a geotechnical engineer for the project. We work on the foundation design, all the foundations for the bridge support and the retaining wall. All the foundations are going into the ground. So in order to design the foundations, we have to check the strength of the soil and the property of the soil in order to design the foundations. So what we do is we come to the site. This location is going to be one of the foundations, one of the support for the new bridge. So at the location of the foundation, we are collecting some soil samples to test the property and the strength of the soil in order to design the foundation. So one of the ways that we do the soil collection is drilling the boring. It's called soil boring, which are like an 8-inch diameter, 6 to 8-inch diameter hole. We will drill vertically down into the ground and take samples like at different depths. So in this particular site, we are going to like 150 feet from this ground elevation. Then we are taking the soil samples like every 5 feet interval. So every 5 feet we will take the actual soil samples and we will take the samples to the laboratory Then we check it out, check the properties, and there are some test methods that we can check the soil properties, and we will use that soil properties to design the foundation. So at this particular location, you can see the drill hole. This is the hole that we started drilling like on Wednesday. Since it is 150 feet deep, it takes some time to complete everything. So we are hoping we are going to finish this boring today. So as of now, as of yesterday afternoon, we reached like around 70 feet from this point onward. We went all the way to 70 feet. So today we are going to start and continue drilling and trying to reach the 150 feet. So while we are doing it, like I mentioned earlier, we will collect samples like every 5 feet intervals.
So Carol, I'm handing it back to you from Mount Vernon Viaduct Ridge.
Okay, Michael, is Paula still available?
Paula is at the site,
Okay.
Alex.
I'm on my way to the site with you, but I can hear you.
Okay, great, because we have some more questions. So Michael, thank you. Paula, we have some more questions that were in the chat box.
Okay.
Let's see, are there opportunities for the districts to coordinate on job shadow opportunities for students interested in engineering careers?
Actually, I should say it would depend on whether it's a single day, a single week, or long term. But I do have a lot of contacts with consultant companies who I do refer and use to do exactly this.
Okie doke. So we'll just keep working on that together then, and then the Alliance can get that out to everyone that's here. Another question, are there projects in the high desert region that districts might be able to engage with?
Yeah, actually, we are embarking on the First Street Bridge in Barstow next. So that's a bridge that's very similar to this. And the city of Barstow has asked us to take over the construction of it. So that'll be the next project that we do in the high desert.
So in an extension to that question would be, would the same kind of RFA process occur, in which case then you could still build in that caveat of how will you connect to the community and the education systems?
No, it is it's a low bid. However, what I'm finding, the more I talk to contractors, they actually are eager to interact with the students, and partly because they are also struggling with finding people to come and work in construction. A lot of people think that working in construction is something that is not desirable. However, I have to say, there are engineers and geologists, you'll see people here, people that work in the field, they have well-paying jobs with benefits, and they improve our communities for us. So we're looking for your students to come join us.
That's what everyone wants to hear. And I know Carrie's very happy right now with the answer. And then I have, doing virtual tours. We have a question, what about virtual tours for students to see? I can answer that, Helen, yes. That's definitely on our agenda to do more of that. And then to Garth's question, can this be done through NEPRIS? Absolutely. SBCTA has done that and will be doing NEPRIS chats as well. And the Alliance is looking for a way to do not only NEPRIS, but also virtual tours, hopefully utilizing the social media live streams that then teachers who maybe don't have NEPRIS then at least still have access to this information so we can get it out to more students. So that'll take on a different flavor. That's just kind of something that we're working on. We're trying to get that. Are there any other questions that we want to ask Paula? Okay, so what you got there, Paula?
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to see more of the equipment or anything out there.
Well, as you can see, it's a very active site. If you're ever in that area, you're going to see that it's very impressive. There are a number of railroads going right underneath that, and they have to coordinate with those companies because you cannot stop the trains from going through. At the same time, you're trying to take apart this bridge. So we're looking forward to when they do demolition, which we know is projected for February. And we're hoping that we can do a go live while the bridge is being blown up. I don't know. So, you know, while they do something that's kind of cool.
We're not gonna blow it up. We're gonna carefully disassemble it, Carol. We are not blowing up the bridge.
Well, it sounds sexier when you say you're going to blow something up. So
I know, but you know, you just raised my blood pressure.
So as they carefully dismantle this bridge that literally is falling apart, when you stand underneath it, you just kind of go, oh my goodness, I'm going to drive around. I will not use this anymore. But when they carefully dismantle it, then we hope to be there to see these pieces and be able to stream it to all of our students, and find ways to get it to every student and every teacher out there. So Paula, I want to thank you so much for being a champ and being our guinea pig for this version of a meeting. It was awesome. I really do appreciate your partnership and all the energies and efforts you put into trying to bring resources to our communities. And you really are a champion for, you know, just getting our communities ahead. So thank you very much for everything that you do.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Okay, so at this time, I am now going to kick it back to Kim, who was such a champ. He went in and out, so now he's back, and he's going to speak to you about Stemopalooza. And again, if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat and I will feed them into Kim.
Well, good morning, everybody. I have to follow that, so I'll do my best. Anyways, I'm Kim Terry. I'm a coordinator with the Alliance for Education, and it's my pleasure to get to talk to you guys today about Stemopalooza Virtual Student Conference. If you have 4th through 8th graders, you're going to want to mark your calendars for February 24th, 2021. How many of you, well, I guess I can't see you, so I don't know if I should even bother asking, but I'm going to assume some of you have heard of Stemopalooza. But Stemopalooza has evolved. It was an in-person event, and it's evolved to a virtual event. And it's actually one of the first events that we decided to take virtual, and then everyone was forced to go virtual. So anyway, so we're not as pioneerish as we thought we were going to be, but but it's still going to be fantastic. So what is Stemopalooza? Stemopalooza, let me see, oh, how do I change my slide here? Hold on. Oh, there we go. So what is Stemopalooza? Stemopalooza is a one-day virtual STEM experience for Inland Empire 4th through 8th grade students. The purpose of Stemopalooza is to provide students with exciting STEM learning experiences that expose students to STEM careers, the essential skills those careers require, and the pathways that lead to them. It's going to be held again on February 24th, 2021, and this is an educational event, so it will count as instructional minutes. Let's see if it'll change slides. Oh, it did. Okay. So what does Stemopalooza consist of? It consists of one, engaging STEM keynote speakers that are highly kinesthetic, get the kids up and moving. Powerful STEM lessons with activities that develop essential STEM skills. And then and those activities are designed to where they can be done at the DIY level, like the kid could do them at home by themselves, or they could do them you know, virtually in a virtual class or in class, depending on where we're at that time. And then the third piece is that we're going to have brief, relatable, informative video testimonials from industry partners, high school pathway students, and post-secondary organizations. So, oh, wrong thing. Here we go. So you might be asking, you know, what you know, what is the focus going to be? Well, we're going to be featuring industry local industry sectors that are high need in our area. And it'll focus on these 9 here. We have arts and media and entertainment, building and construction trades, engineering, environment, and utilities, health sciences, medical technology, hospitality, tourism, and recreation, information and communication technologies, manufacturing and product design, public services, and transportation. So at Stemopalooza, a student can hear from 2 engaging keynote speakers that will present a connection to STEM, but who are energetic, fun, and get kids out of their seats to use STEM. They can explore different industry sector booths that highlight careers through video testimonials and challenge them with activities that develop essential STEM skills. And they can also learn about post-secondary programs in our area where they can learn those skills. And that's kind of my overview of Stemopalooza. Are there any questions? If there are, I can't see them on my screen here. But
I don't see any yet.
okay.
So I will ask a question though. At what point should districts be expecting to get information, registration information regarding the event?
Okay. Probably we're working with a virtual platform and we're using their registration system. So it'll probably be very early January when the registration goes out. But save the dates and more information will go out in December.
Okay, so we have another question.
Yes.
How many students will have the opportunity to attend?
Okay, well, the answer is as many as possible, but we're looking at in the thousands. In the past, Stemopalooza served between 400 and 800. The platform allows for 3,000 at a time, the way that we're set up right now. And so hopefully, I'm thinking somewhere between 3,000 to 6,000 kids. I know STEP is a similar conference. Won't be as cool as ours, but STEP is a similar conference, and they went really big. The way they modeled theirs was it was all teacher led, and we're hoping to get it to more student at the student level. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right.
But who's clicking and who's leading the event? The people through the event.
So StepCon that just completed, they served over, I want to say close to 14,000 students between the Riverside and San Bernardino counties. And this is the sister event to that to help continue to promote STEM across the 2-county region. And so we were using a lot, Kim is directly involved with the Riverside conference. And so we were using a lot of the lessons learned through that and applying it to ours. So if you look at the numbers of students that were able to register, or the number of students that were able to participate, it was around that many students, between 13,000 and 14,000 students. Now the kick here was that it was teachers. Teachers were the ones who registered, and then they identified how many students they were, they had in their classes. And then the students accessed the event through the LMS that the teachers had and through that link, but the teacher drove the experience. So the teacher determined, okay, now we're going to go here in the virtual environment. Okay, now we're going to go here. We're going to see this speaker. We're going to do this activity. What we're hoping to do is open it up to more registrations so that if a student is registering, because again, we don't know what school's going to look like in February. So not only do we want teachers to be able to take advantage of having a link and maybe then driving it, if that's what they so choose to do, but also if students are home and they want to drive it as well, and kind of just go explore, we want them to be able to do that too. So we're looking at the registrations, right?
Yes.
So again, this is new for us. We want to keep in mind, the student safety. We want to keep in mind that, how many people can actually get onto the platform and still be able to efficiently navigate through it. So we've been working on this since February. like Kim said, and now we're pulling all of those pieces together. So Carrie, I don't know if I answered your question. Okay. And then share the date. So Kim, can you share the date again? Can you put that on? I know it's February 24th. If you can just
Yeah, I'm gonna.
put that back up on the screen
Yeah.
for that, so Julie can make note of that. And let's see. Lots of fun. So we have our team looking. There's another key piece to this. A lot of the activities that we're trying to do here, they're very makerspace-ish, and the idea is, you know, if students are home, they're limited in their resources. So can they do activities that are STEM related that can be kind of that makerspace-ish? Like if you think about it, using things, common things around the house or in the yard or in the trash or whatever to create, to do, to learn. And so our team has been working for the last 4 months trying to identify those, and they're scouring the internet and every other resource you can find to see, so we can have ones that, yeah, maybe you have some resources, but what if you didn't? What if you didn't have those things, you know? Could you just use something lying around the house? So we're really trying to make it as inclusive as possible, keeping those things in mind. And again, having no idea whether, you know, what school's going to look like in February, just trying to build a real positive and interactive experience for our kiddos with regards to STEM. Do we have any other questions? Well, if you think of some later on down the road, please just reach out to us. We're very happy to answer those questions for you. So what I'm going to do now, thank you, Kim, very much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw it over to Shahzad, and he's going to take it away and talk to you about our micro internship pilot that we literally just finished on our end, and we have 2 other partners who are involved in it as well. He's going to give you some preliminary information and results from that, and kind of lead you or let you know where we're leading this and where we're going to end up going with this. So Shahzad, with that, take it away.
Sorry, I was on mute. What I was saying was it was great to be here today and to be able to virtually engage with everybody. I was saying this is a really cool project to kind of be able to work on, because we think about the CTE world and just how the CTE world was disrupted, right, with the pandemic. This is something that we thought was a really applicable extension of what CTE does. You know, we obviously can't hold physical internships that our students would be able to participate in before. And so we thought about this concept of doing micro internships. And the idea of this micro internship actually came about on one of these calls that had taken place, I think in July at some point. Somebody had made that suggestion, and then we kind of ran with it. And so the idea about the micro internships started to kind of foster in our minds, and we put together a task force, and we're very pleased to be able to collaborate with MDEP that serves our communities in the high desert and One Future Coachella, so that whatever it is that we're trying to create here is done through some collective work, through some collective wisdom and perspective, where we can test these concepts in 3 of our different regions that serve the Inland Empire. I know MDEP is doing their micro internship pilot next week. I know One Future Coachella is looking to do that in the next week and a half as well. And we just concluded our 3 micro internships that comprised our pilot. And so I wanted to share some information with you as we kind of go forward with this. So the goal of this is to really maximize our impact, right? And so our hope is that by the middle of November, we are able to collectively as a task force put together best practice, concept tested, district resources that we're calling micro internships in a box. They would include things that you see on that list, intro email templates for industry, flyers for the industry, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen there, micro internship plans that I'll be sharing with you, onboarding for the industry. Some of our learnings include how do we coach our industry partners who are not educators, right, in making sure they can interact appropriately with students, student recruitment flyers, student application, the student acceptance email templates. So things that you can take as a district, put in your information, copy and paste, and then really maximize the impact. So at the end of this, our students are ones that benefit from your networks that you've already built in your communities. So if you'll notice on the right-hand side here, this is a flyer that we put together to be able to share with our business partners. The idea was that we really wanted to focus with our business partners on transmitting one skill. If they had 90 minutes is one session. We've had several that have done multiple sessions, but in the time slot that they had, the idea would be for them to teach students one or two skills with a very small group of students, 4 to 5 students, and that these skills will be skills that students could at the end of the session say, oh wow, I walked away from this experience really gaining a skill that I can see the relevance in the real world as shared by my presenter, by my industry partner, and I can apply in my setting right now, right? These skills are aligned to the California standards for California Ready standards for practice, I think it is. We'll get to that. I'm still touching up on my CTE lingo. But the parameters that we gave our industry partners was, think about a skill that you think is critical for success in your job. A skill that would address the most common problems encountered in your daily job functions, right? So those were the parameters that we kind of engaged our business partners with as we began to think. And as we've gone through the pilot, what we've noticed is that some of these skills, right, really kind of fit well in the technical category that I'll be sharing with you. And some of these skills have to do with those very important essential skills that we think about and have to kind of fall in the realm of mentoring, right? So the idea of not just micro internships, but also micro mentorships is what we are kind of seeing just from the 3 that we've done. And I'm waiting to gather feedback from MDEP and One Future Coachella as we go forward. So here's what the plan looks like. Once we've talked to the industry partner, this is a SurveyMonkey link that we send to the industry partners where they complete information. As you'll notice at the bottom he left here, these are the standards for career practice from the CTE, CDE site that they kind of select, which best aligns with their micro internship. They select a date, a time that works best for them. And as we think about our students, right, what works best for our students, given that they're doing virtual schooling right now as well. They list their activities. And again, their activities are very heavily real world based. They have to do with discussion topics that can really engage students through the chat feature, through conversations, case studies from their work, exercises that can take students through scenario-based tasks, demos, etc. That will be done during the session. We've also noted here the approximate time needed to complete an independent activity if assigned. We've had a couple of our presenters who have assigned an independent activity for students to do between sessions. And I know a lot of our districts, all of our districts are tabulating the amounts of time our students are spending virtually. So we figured this might be a good indicator, and there's a drop down in there as well. So once the partners kind of fill that out, this flyer here is the student school district facing flyer that we've kind of put together that shows you, who the micro internship is with. In this case, it was with Tecton Hospitality. It tells you on the top right here who the presenter is, their title, the dates for the presentation. We've got a student application I'll share with you as well, because we want this process to mimic something that students would go through when they apply for a job. It's not something that they're just entitled to. There's a student application with a deadline and a link that's attached in there. And at the end of this, the students earn a digital badge. The idea of students being able to see something concrete that they have earned and that they can put in their electronic portfolio that they can share with employers and colleges as they go forward, I think is something we wanted to take into account as well. Here's a screenshot of the student application. And so you'll see here, again, it's a SurveyMonkey link that was sent out to students where they complete personal information regarding their name, email address, teacher, school, district name. It's only open to 11th and 12th graders, and preferably 12th graders, seniors, because they're the most closest to going into the real world and landing a job or going to college. And then we ask them those 3 questions. Explain why you're interested in participating. 3 words that best describe you. How do you feel this experience will help you in the future? And we actually went through a process of selecting students because we wanted to limit it to 4 to 5 students or 4 to 6 students in a couple of cases. And then we have an acknowledgement there where we ask students to make sure that they are actively participating, et cetera, and the students complete that. Templates of students receiving acceptance emails or rejection emails. Again, we wanted to make this foolproof to the extent where you can manipulate this as you need to, but it makes it easier on you. And again, I think we recognize students for those that applied but didn't get in due to the number of spots that were available. And then on the bottom right there, you'll see the registration site that we had. So once a student receives a notification of being selected, they've got to register, upon which they receive the Zoom link to participate in the micro internship. So one of our 3 micro internships, the first one we had was with ConvergeOne, which is an IT consulting company based in Ontario. And a lot of the devices that you have in your school districts are probably coming through ConvergeOne as well. Their senior director for projects, Ash Handy, as you can see in the image there, presented to our students at Chaffee Joint Union High School. We had students who were in an AP computer class, and I know Susan's on here as well. And they were amazing participants. As you can see, it was a very interactive session. One of the things that Ash, as a presenter, did really well was really got to find out student interests. He was actually taking notes when they were sharing what their interests were and really tying his information around their interests. He also talked on the right here through a slide deck about a process that he has developed called React, which is a problem-solving tool that he uses in his company with his team, and really providing real examples from students' lives to engage them in a process of how to use that in their settings, but also in the real world setting. The next one that we piloted was with Tecton Hospitality, based in Ontario. They are a furniture manufacturing company that manufactures furniture for resorts all over the country. And their creative design director presented, and their PR director was the one who was presenting to our students. And we had students from Fontana that participated in this. And as you'll see in this one, a little bit different. This was more of a technical skill that the presenter wanted to share with students. And so if you'll notice on the top left, they used a photo editing tool. We had initially thought about using Adobe Photoshop, but came to find out that some of our students wouldn't have access. And so in working with the district, we found out that Photopea is a free online software tool that can be utilized. And the presenter was happy to be able to use that as well. And so that's what they were using to create that. What you'll notice on the right is a student product of a student who designed, they took an image, they photoshopped it, edited it, not photoshopped it, and they put it in a website with a tagline to replicate the marketing process that the presenter goes through when they share information with their, the hospitality agency. And then our third presenter was our very own Karen Goss, who, as you can see there, has been an elementary teacher at TOSA, a principal, and she currently serves with us at SVCSSROP as the curriculum specialist and the K-12 partner for the colleges as well. And she did an amazing job of leading students through, again, real world hands-on examples. If you'll notice on the top left, we're all familiar with EdJoin. And so she walked students through this portal where she actually created a scavenger hunt, where students, as part of their independent assignment, have to go and search through EdJoin, identifying positions that they might be interested in, and just noting information, right, that came through from their search on EdJoin. And students came up with some very interesting, eye-opening things that we typically wouldn't recognize or could stand on, in front of our classes and speak to. But I think this exercise really kind of helped them through that. At the very bottom, she also took them through interview scenarios, and not just sharing with them questions, but actually having them practice with each other in the format. One of the things that she did that I thought was really interesting was the idea of an elevator pitch. And we all know how important that is in terms of marketing ourselves and branding ourselves. And she really was able to facilitate that, give students wait time, think time, where they had to kind of think of their elevator pitch, and then they presented and shared the pitch with everybody. And so it was really powerful to be able to do that. And you'll notice that the idea of having 4 to 5 students really makes this an intimate setting where they're able to do these sort of things. And this San Marino City had their students participate in this, and it worked out really well, I think. As I mentioned to you, at the end of the completion of the micro internships, students receive digital badges. And so you'll see on the right there, we've got our 3 different badges that we, that students earned. The first one was for within the information, communication, and technology sector that was facilitated by ConvergeOne. The second one was in the education, child development, and family services facilitated by County Schools and Karen. And the last one was in the manufacturing and product design facilitated by Tecton Hospitality. And what's interesting is if you'll notice on the left, right, it's a badge that we really wanted to make sure illustrated what the criteria was that students had to go through and how it aligned to standards. So if you'll notice on the left there, you'll see that recipients must complete the earning criteria to earn this badge. And the objectives met for the badge with ConvergeOne were the following, right? Informed of the different types of jobs at ConvergeOne aligned to their interests, examined customer service related issues typical to the workplace, applied the problem solving approach to personal and professional situations, employing methods used by the industry partner for receiving, understanding, and solution finding, and then applied issue resolution principles and weighed different outcomes for workplace related scenarios. Now, what was interesting is this criteria, we got a lot of our verbiage and language for the criteria from the form that the employers initially filled out, right? The micro internship plan that they had, where they listed their activities, their objectives, because we wanted to stay true to what the employer wanted to do. And so this is a summary of what we did in this case. You'll also notice here that this particular badge aligned with the CTE standard for career practice number 5, and it gives a brief description here on a hyperlink for somebody to look at what all of those are and in the context of CTE. So here are, we just finished the last one on Wednesday of this week. So we're in the process of gathering feedback from students, but I'll give you about 30 seconds to read some of the initial feedback that we've been able to gain, from the process so far.
So Shazad, I've asked Rose Gonzalez and Susan Petricelli from Chafee if they could speak to their students' experiences, because I know that they were in those internships while they were occurring at the same time. So at any point, if you want to call on them to supplement your presentation, go for it.
Yeah, let's do it now, because I think what I have next is a couple of snippets from the student experience. And so perhaps, Susan, if you want to start us off talking about the experience of the Chafee students with ConvergeOne.
Sure, thank you. Well, and really, we want to just convey our gratitude for the experience and being part of the pilot. Los Osos High School students were the students that were selected. And one of the reasons we did that, as I had shared with Shazad, was that we wanted to focus on a teacher that would be able to release his students and who works with them in CTE environments, so that because this took place during their distance learning time period, we needed to have a teacher that would be willing to let them go to do that experience. And you pointed out something, Shazad, where we talked about that these industry professionals, they're doing a mentorship as well as the internship part, and we saw that with the way that they connected with him in the room. But initially, I think building that little learning community and getting them going, we had to interject at times. And I think that where you're talking about training the micro internship professionals with some of the classroom skills that our teachers have to get the students involved, I think that's really important, and I'm glad to hear we're going to do that. The students themselves, I think, were tired because it was the end of their day, but once they were connected, they really were engaged. So much to that the 90-minute time period, we probably could have gone over. And at the very beginning, I was thinking, oh boy, hopefully we'll get through the 90 minutes. Once they warmed up and were very engaged, they were there. And I think some things for anyone else to consider when they're involved with this is, I think having that the teacher in the room, and I know you were there too, I think it may help break the ice. I think that's going to be an important piece if we're able to do that. Also coming from your own organization, having a permission slip, and I did a media waiver for them as well, made sure that the parents were involved and they knew what their students were doing. But all in all, I think it was a very positive experience. I really liked the badge that they received. They really seemed interested in earning that because that's what they're building their digital portfolios as well. And was a great experience. I'm thrilled that our students were part of the pilot and look forward to the future opportunities for the kids.
Yeah, and Susan, thank you for sharing with us those the media releases, because I was then able to share that with our 2 other districts. I haven't even had a chance to tell you that, but they were able to kind of make that their own for their districts, which was a great learning example for us as we collaborated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rose, do you want to share a little bit about the San Bernardino City experience?
Sure. So we also want to say thank you for allowing us to participate in this pilot. Our students were thrilled. They were excited, and to see their faces when you gave them homework, they were happy to get that homework. They were happy to go onto EdJoin and do some exploring. They were actually eager to put those skills to use that they learned during the micro internship. And our CTE teacher also has learned from the experience. He was able to attend for a short period of time, but I also shared with him, you know, some of the materials that were sent afterwards. And he's having the students who participated use that experience as like a break-off point for their senior research projects on the career path that they're interested in. So he's really excited to get the, you know, the materials, that package, that kit that you're talking about putting together, because I think this is something that we can definitely use in the future. It was very painless. It was it felt like very super easy to implement. And I could see us using that with other industry sectors and with our other CTE teachers. So it was an awesome experience overall for our kids and for our teachers as well.
Great, thank you, Rose. And you know, I think we are, you know, we heard from a couple of the school districts, but I think we also have one of our presenters on, Karen Goss. And so Karen, if you want to take just a little bit of time and share your experience, right, from being the presenter and the business partner, and that will give us some context too, if you don't mind.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So my background is I was an elementary teacher and principal, so I got the opportunity to teach these amazing young ladies who are excited to become elementary teachers, special ed teachers, and some school psychologists. So that was all their dreams. I really got to walk them through some of the background of child development and bring out all my Piaget and Erik Erikson, and it was really fun for me to teach them and to watch them be so excited. I really worked with them on developing their why, and you know, going in, they have many years of college in front of them to be a teacher or any of their other opportunities. So we got to write, we did that elevator pitch, we got to learn about child development, and then I left them with a challenge. There's a website where you can write a letter to your future self. So all of the girls are writing a letter to themselves that they will email, and in 5 years when they're graduating with their credentials, they'll get an email in their inbox from them today, remembering why they wanted to become a teacher. So it was such a fun experience to work with these amazing girls. It was it was just a great experience. So if anyone has the opportunity to lead one, I would highly suggest it. It was great.
Thank you,
So
Karen.
thank you for including me.
Yeah, and you know, and I think one of the things that I think as we take these back to our districts, one is to keep in mind that we have a lot of our experts in our organizations, and in all these different fields. And so I think tapping onto them is a great way to show students, you know, who we have within our organizations, and to invite them to come back as they go on their journeys and can serve in our organization. So let me share with you a couple of clips that I have, very short ones, from the student experience. And if you can, I hope you can hear them. If not, I'm sure Carol will let me know. So here it goes. Just make sure your volumes are turned up, because I don't think the volume quality is as high as I'd like it to be, but we'll try.
I just wanted to preface that I used a white background on books that were mostly darker in color. And then on the top book, it was white. And so when I used the tool to cut out the books from the background, and when the calculator 2 on top, you'll be able to see, but it was a learning experience for me.
Okay, great. Let's see.
So the company that I named is Intelligence Reserve, and it's actually not a product company. I just used it as a background for the actual, just like a display for a tutoring purpose.
Cool. I love how you used the tools that we went over, even though, like you're saying, it's a learning experience. I feel like that's exactly the point. And I can see that here. I can see that you utilize the magic eraser for the background removal. Did you add a shadow behind the calculator?
I tried to, and then also at the very bottom of the books, but that was a learning experience too.
All right, so as you saw on this one, right, it was a lot of learning experiences, and the students were great. Susan, you talked about having a teacher on there, and I think the teacher from Fontana, from Summit High School, was able to be here as well, and you can see her on there as well. And that was really helpful, because I think some of the students were using their phones because of some of the restrictions within the district to certain sites, and so it was good for her to be able to be there and kind of mediate some of those issues as well. Let me show you the next one.
I just wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. This was the one. So this is the one with Karen Goss around our education sector.
Something else that you noticed, Marissa. First, I noticed there's a lot of jobs, like especially in California. Like all the other states are like little tiny numbers, and like California, like kind of huge number, like whoa. And then I noticed that there's like a lot of jobs. I think it's easy for people to, when they think of a school, they kind of just think of like teachers, principal, like that's pretty much it. But there's so many other jobs, like teacher jobs wasn't even really on there. Like there was like more of other jobs. Like they definitely like were more number than like the actual teaching jobs.
For sure, and especially right now, it's October.
All right.
Something else that you noted.
And the next one is with ConvergeOne.
Program as well, like doing like modifying computers, Java computer science as well. So I wanted to follow in his footsteps and do the same thing as him, develop programs, develop AI, for example.
Okay, very cool. Cool. So that's a very interesting field, and I'll tell you. And this is going to lead into my next thing I'm going to talk about. But being in development is fun, right? You got to keep trying. You got to try different things. You got to keep attacking it. But what you want to make sure you're also able to do is collaborate and partner, because a lot of good ideas are going to come from various people, right? Much like Conversations at ConvergeOne, it was actually developed by a group of people. It wasn't just one guy. But one guy had a good idea, and then everybody kind of contributed. Okay, Garrett, for you, where do you want to go in your future in computers?
I mean, I just like coding a lot. Like I like the frustrations of having to keep going at it, and then the satisfaction when you finally like get something right. Like I've done a bit of competitive programming, and the questions they give you, it's frustrating to do it, but I love the satisfaction that you get when you finally get it done. And if I can have a career just doing that, I certainly want that.
So, problem solved. I like it. Yeah. Good. James, where do you want to go with this career?
All right, so as you noticed in this particular example, right, the presenter was really in tune with student interests and aligning his talk with the interests that the students had expressed. So, you know, I'm really, you know, glad that we were able to collaborate on this particular project as a task force with MDEP and One Future Coachella, because our learnings are going to be, you know, exponential as we're able to take best practices and put this together to really fit the needs in our community. So with that, you know, Carol and I and anybody else will take questions. If you had any, those are all the slides that I had.
Okay, so we do have one question, and it says, can we access the media releases for a template once this program is available to other sites to participate? And is there a promo video that introduces students, teachers, parents to the program? So I can answer that real quickly. Everything that we put together through our experience of these pilots will be made available. Our goal is to, like Shahzad said, we're trying to create a program in a box that we can hand over to districts who can then adapt what we give them and manipulate what we give them to make it work in their district, because we're looking for capacity building, and we need to be able to hand these off to teachers, especially CTE teachers, who are looking for ways to make this happen in their classroom in this environment. So if we can give them everything ready-made, which is our intention, then that's what we're going to do. And then that, and there'll be templates galore, Krista. Templates galore. But we're waiting, like he said, we've got 2 other intermediaries who are piloting on theirs to see, we're waiting to see what lessons we learned from them as well. To the point of, is there a promo video that introduces students, teachers, parents to the program? Well, it's not our program, but it is a very good idea to do some sort of onboarding video. Perhaps that's something that will also filter out when we listen to our other 2 partners in the task force for teachers. But for the teachers that typically are used to doing internships, community classroom, job shadows, all of those, they could, my hope is that they'll be able to see how they can quickly adapt and use this model with their partners from there, so that there maybe isn't so much need for how to get going on that. But that's definitely something we can look at. We do know for a fact we need an onboarding video for our industry partners. Without a doubt, we need that. I think they learned very quickly that just because everyone went through school doesn't mean everyone can teach. And so they're kind of like, but we were in the room. So we are developing 2 different processes. One is going to be, what do we hand off to our districts? So then our districts can take this and run with it. And then we have students and partners connecting and doing these micro internships and collecting their badges and building their portfolios. And then another process that we need to develop for our intermediaries, because people like, or groups like the Alliance, we have business partners coming to us all the time that are asking, how do we connect to the systems? And so we need our own processes on how we identify where we're pulling students because they're not our students, how we pull in students, and how we have to maybe tweak some of the processes. So we're trying to do both. And at the same time, we're also trying to look at how do we differentiate between what appears to be more of a micro internship versus a micro mentorship. And so our hope is that we'll have all of that all tied up and then be able to roll that out soon, hopefully. Will this program be shared with our superintendents in the county at one of their meetings? So Dr. Houston, you are welcome to take that question.
I would absolutely love to share that with our superintendents at one of the meetings. Yes, I can do my best to try and steal about 15 minutes during a meeting. So whenever we're ready to rock, I am there to bring it forward. Good idea.
Anyone else? Does anyone else have any questions? I mean, really look at this program as it's not it's not limited. It's just not limited. If we have the piece, it's not just the CTE thing. You can really promote this across multiple areas. Helen, I know you're on the line. Do you see opportunities for your students, your programs?
Oh God, sorry, I was on mute. Absolutely, I am like super excited to be a part of this committee, and I see so many different opportunities. I'm like super stoked that our students will be able to be involved in these opportunities and be able to participate in all of these things.
Thank you. And so, like, I just want you to look at it, and again, our goal is just to make something that everyone can adapt. It is not cookie cutter for everybody, but if we can get most of the homework done ahead of time and hand it off, then it won't be as, you know, as big a deal to make some minor adaptations to what works depending on the class, depending on the teacher and the partner, and the location in our county. We're hoping that this becomes a San Bernardino trademark thing, that we are being innovative in our approach to making sure that kids can continue to have access to these resources. So I'm gonna open it up for one more time for any other questions, concerns, ideas, anything? No? Well, I'm not seeing anything popping up on chat. No one's unmuting to jump in there. So I am just going to say that, oh, Krista, you got me. What is a timeline for this to be available to other districts? So like Shazad said, we still have the other 2 pilots that need to occur. Our hope would be that we would be able to have everything all nicely wrapped and tied up so that we could hand it over for second semester. That's our hope. That's what we're shooting for. But, you know, every time we learn something, we've got to pivot. So that as soon as it's ready, we are definitely going to let, for sure, this group know. And then we will, going through Dr. Houston, we are going to make sure that the districts are made aware of this.
Just in terms of timeline and timing, the next countywide superintendent meeting is November the 13th. So that may be a bit of an aggressive timeline to get in front of superintendents, but if we're talking about something that would potentially be launched for a spring semester, you know, the next meeting after that is like February. So anyway, we kind of have to, you know, thread the needle a little bit, but I think that we can get it done.
Right. But to actually have it out to the boots on the ground that are actually going to implement and make it happen, we want to make sure that we're ready for the semester. Like, we can give it to them in plenty of time to be able to say, oh, okay, this is cool. Let's start working on this, and let's, again, not knowing what school's going to look like, but this is not something that has to be based on only when there's a pandemic. This is what we want to do moving forward. This is new, it's different, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's something that can be carried forward so that more students have opportunities and they're not hampered by transportation. It's not super long. We've got bite-sized chunks of time that our employers can provide and that our students can carve out of their day. So we definitely see this as long-term, a process that's going to continue regardless of whether or not we're home or not doing our learning. So with that, I want to say, yes, we are running early. And so I want to thank all of you for being here and for dealing with some of our little glitches we had in the beginning. It was our first time out the gate. There was a reason that I was nervous. And so, but we made it work. Please, you know, keep in mind Stemopalooza is coming around the corner. Please take advantage of that when we start sending all that information out. We really are looking forward to quite a fun and creative experience for our kiddos. Again, the micro internships, micro mentorships, and then all the other projects we have going on, we would definitely share with you too. And if you have any questions with regards to how to connect to SBCTA or anything like that, please just contact us and we'll be happy to work with you on that as well. Okay, and with that, I'm gonna say happy Friday to everybody. thank you for carving out time to be with us. The Alliance appreciates it, loves having all of you here, loves being able to connect. And until our next meeting, which won't be till, I believe, February, be looking for stuff that we're sending out. We have some companies and business people who want to do virtual tours, so we'll make sure that we let you know in between the meetings. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. That was awesome. Thanks.